on Outback Truckers.
We might be in trouble here.
High on a mountain pass, Justin Harrison is going downhill fast when his gearbox fails.
This truck will run away. There'll be no stopping her.
Cows play chicken with Sunny Forest's monster road train.
Really got to watch him.
And for Mike Partridge's load of vintage tractors,
there's a tree over the road up here.
a roadblock on a blind bed.
Shit.
Bit of fog, it's unusual. It's usually smoke or dust this time of the year. With all these fires and drought and stuff going on around us. It's had a big effect on a lot of the roads we go on.
Justin Harrison is caught in the middle of a double disaster. Fire and drought. One of Australia's worst since records began in the 1860s. To help farmers, Justin's heading out in his double trailer to pick up 30 tonnes of hay. From a farm in Penshurst, southern Victoria, he's travelling to a fire and drought-ravaged property in Casino, New South Wales, over 1,700 kilometres north. A devastated area where deadly bushfires killed 2 people and destroyed 30 homes.
Hopefully it's open still when we get up there.
Massive fires have ripped through the Great Dividing Range Justin has to cross, where steep, winding roads are damaged and unsafe.
Fire-affected and drought-affected country will be, most of the way. Hey, mate, how you going? Justin, mate. Nice to meet you, Tim.
It's a difficult load. Each bale weighs at least half a tonne.
Oh, it's like sort of playing with blocks when you're a kid. You just got to sort of stack them to get the maximum amount of bales you can get on, because you get paid by the weight, so you want to get as many as you can on. I think we'll get about 60 or 61 or something like that on here.
Stacked up to the max, Justin's 30-tonne load is nearly 4.1 metres high.
Very top heavy. Truck tends to rock about.
Justin's carting a potential fireball. Not the sort of load you want, heading into bushfires sweeping the state.
When you're travelling through fire-affected areas, it's always something you've got to be watchful of, is the ambers can ignite the hay.
Justin's entering the fire zone.
Bit of a fire over on the left there, up on the other side of the mountain. Don't think it'd be real good for these little places along here. If the fire comes over that hill, you just go like wildfire through here in no time.
"1,800 kilometres to the west.
Freight that we got on, we don't want anything rolling or moving because damage some of that precious stuff back there.
In South Australia, truckie Mike Partridge is carting 2 trailer loads of rare vintage tractors, worth in excess of $130,000.
Yeah, some of those tractors back there are the only ones in Australia, so if we damage it, parts will be pretty hard to come across.
They are the treasured possessions of his boss, following nervously behind, fellow truckie and tractorholic, Peter Spur.
I wouldn't want anything to go wrong because, it'd be definitely heartbreaking.
On board, 8 vintage machines, bought at auction, with the earliest dating back to 1935. Loaded up in Gellibrand in Victoria and Mildura, they're being trucked all the way across to Wagen in Western Australia, 3,260 kilometres away. There, they'll be added to Pete's already impressive collection of over 30 vintage pieces.
I get a real buzz taking these to shows because I like to stand back and see everyone walking around and talk about them, and that really gives me a good buzz.
The heat's on Mike. His boss is trusting him to deliver them intact and undamaged.
I've seen other people cart vintage gear, but they've done a lot of damage to it.
In a few hours, they'll be crossing the border into Western Australia, a state that has the toughest biosecurity rules in the country. The state produces $4.6 billion worth a year of grains such as wheat and barley. The tough rules are designed to prevent the crops from being wiped out by noxious weeds and pests. And as agricultural machines, the tractors will be prime targets for quarantine inspectors. If the tractors aren't squeaky clean, Pete could be facing fines of up to $50,000.
Just got to declare that these machines haven't been in fact used for the last 30 days. So we should be pretty right because some of these ones haven't been used for at least 30, 40 years.
Pete's wandering off now to get all our paperwork sorted here in Ceduna. So once we get the border, show them we've got the right paperwork.
Pete's already spent thousands more than he wanted on this passion project, and he doesn't need the bill to skyrocket any further.
If we don't have this paperwork in order, all these tractors will get quarantined, so then it'll be a matter of running to Kalgoorlie and everything will have to be unloaded, cleaned, and then signed off, and then reloaded and back home, which could cost us a couple of days, really.
It's not just the 2 days of lost travel that's at stake. There'll be a $500 bill for each of the 8 tractors if they have to be cleaned. At a final roadside check before the quarantine inspection station, Pete's anxiety levels continue to rise.
It'll be very devastating. It'll be something very small or minuscule that they might pick up on.
Pete gives the tyres a final forensic scrape for any tiny specks of dirt or plant life still on board.
Pete's been a bit thorough about things. You can't really blame him for that. He just wants to get them across and get home, so do I. Here goes nothing. We're at the South Australian border, one of the dreaded parts of this trip. Everything's been cleaned down and washed, but it's always a bit iffy being able to get past quarantine. So we just have to cross our fingers. Good, how you going? Get out and I'll have a look.
Cattle on the road here. Obviously driving cattle for food. Geez, some of them looking poor.
A veteran trucker with 30 years behind the wheel.
No worries, buddy. Have a good day, eh?
Sunny Forest's home is where the road is.
Well, I do 20,000 Ks every 3 weeks. It is a lifestyle. You either love it or you hate it. I've been home for 2 weeks this year. I was home for 1 week last year for the year. So, yeah, I live in this. Everyone reckons I've got real bad OCD. I just really like to keep it spotless clean. This is how I look after every truck I've driven. For a 5-year-old truck that's done over 1 million Ks, it looks like it's nearly brand new. As a tribute to Slim Dusty, like it really stands out in the crowd, that's for sure.
Pretty nice big looking unit you got there, bud.
No worries at all.
On this trip, Sonny's hauling 4 brand new trailers, a quad, 52 metres of polished metal owned by the haulage company he works for. From Brisbane, Sonny's transporting an urgent load of bulk feed to Katherine in the Northern Territory, a massive 3,250 kilometres away. For this monster trip, Sonny's truck, worth $470,000, needs to be in tip-top condition.
I'm picking up my brand new trailers. I picked up one set yesterday, run them up the Roma last night, picking up this set today and go and load them.
The 4 trailers Sonny's picking up, along with a dolly, are worth $675,000 and are made of lightweight aluminium with anti-roll stability features. The tyres, all 70 of them, are self-inflating. They keep the pressure in each tyre at exactly 90 pounds per square inch to reduce wear and tear. one final check.
That don't look good.
Mechanic Josh Bates is checking for exhaust gases in the coolant.
Goes green, we're in trouble.
If it turns green, it indicates a blown gasket or cracked cylinder head. Either will mean an engine rebuild at a cost of over $4,000.
No, it's green.
Yep. So I'd say we're looking at
A rebuild.
Yep.
A bitter blow for Sonny and the farmers in desperate need of his 67 tonnes of feed.
Looks like it's going to have a motor rebuild. That's 4 days I'm off the road.
It's always a bit iffy being able to get past quarantine. There goes nothing. Good, how you going? Pete has in the van over there. He's got all the paperwork.
The moment of truth has arrived for Mike and Pete.
Showtime. See what happens. Hopefully the paperwork's all good. So get out and I'll have a look.
Isolated Western Australia has some of the strictest biosecurity controls in the country.
Yep, no problem.
Mike's load of 8 vintage tractors is a prime target for the eagle eyes of the quarantine inspector.
I've put a lot of time into cleaning things. It definitely means that we're not carrying any foreign seeds or weeds into the state.
Do you know how long this has been on?
That's been in the shed for about 3 years.
Yeah, we had all the paperwork done. We had all the machinery washed.
Mike and Pete need to make sure the tractors are clean and the paperwork is in order. Anything wrong and they could be refused entry and fined up to $50,000.
I'd be lying if I wasn't concerned.
We're all good.
Thank you so much for that.
No worries.
Have a good one.
Yep, you too. Thank God for that.
Oh, well, a bit of organisation and cleaning and getting things documented because, yeah, it pays off to...
You're stressing for nothing.
Don't worry, I'll sit myself.
Home is still 1,200 kilometres and 2 days away, across the mighty Nullarbor Plain, the longest stretch of dead straight road in Australia. 146 kilometres of no turns, no towns, and sometimes no way to pass.
Probably there in the oversized.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's got a road train coming up behind you there, fellas. So yeah, I'll just poke up towards you and yeah, we'll have a track when you're ready.
Yeah, you man. What are we gonna do?
At the start of his journey, on the outskirts of Brisbane, Sonny Forrest has received some devastating news.
The girls let me down.
His beloved 5-year-old truck he keeps spotless needs more than just an engine rebuild. It needs a completely new engine.
Not good.
The cost, $80,000.
Just decided to play up now, so couldn't have picked a worse time.
So go and get loaded, come back to yard.
For Sonny to keep the wheels turning, a replacement truck needs to be found. To make his deadline, Sonny can't afford to wait to load his last 2 trailers. He can still drive the truck for short distances, but anything longer could create problems.
Heading into Pinkenbarn on the north side of Brisbane, go in there and get a load of soya meal.
Soya meal is urgently required 3,250 kilometres away in the Northern Territory, where it will be turned into feed for drought-stricken cattle.
We've had no rain, hasn't come under 40 degrees for, I think it's nearly 2 months straight. That's all we do is do grain and fertiliser and that sort of stuff. Oh, here's the mechanic. Hey, Josh.
Yeah, mate, yeah. Will you be able to pull up there somewhere?
Yeah, why is that?
They might have a courtesy truck to just pick down.
Emergency stop and bay, 300 metres
Yeah,
ahead.
Yeah, pull in there if you can. I'll be down there shortly.
Oh, well, we've got a courtesy truck coming so I can go and load this and they can start working on pulling this thing apart. Can't unhook it all. Sit and wait now for the other truck.
To cart his 2 trailers and 67-ton load,
Not a good day.
Sonny needs at least a 600 horsepower prime mover.
Oh, my God. The suit won't go low enough to hide in that.
The replacement truck only has a 500 horsepower engine.
Oh. Do you hate me? Don't laugh, you. Right, where's the hazard lights on this?
An old school trucker, Sonny has never driven this type of truck before.
Where's the hazard lights on this?
It's left-hand center console, mate.
Oh, yeah, found it. Oh, what a weapon. Let's see if I can get it to move. Oh, my God. I'm dreading this thing being loaded. Ooh. Definitely won't pull up hills the way mine pulls up hills.
At the loading yard.
Right, to come in the shed.
Yeah, just come in, hook to your left, go down to the pile, do the U-turn, then back up towards the pile.
I've got to try and load it so all my axle weights are exactly right. So you put a certain amount of ton in a certain spot. Thanks, though, buddy. See how this thing goes with 67 tonne on its back. It's moving. That's a start.
Now for the truck's first test.
Oh, shit.
The Gateway Bridge. Maximum speed, 80 kilometres per hour.
You're joking. 30 kilometres an hour up the Gateway Bridge. Oh, God, this is embarrassing. Oh, what a crap. Wow. How slow is this? 25 kilometres an hour. Oh, painful.
The first thing I think when I see a fire in front with a hay truck is how do I get around it?
Justin Harrison's heading into the bushfire zone. On board, 30 tonnes of highly combustible hay. He's delivering to farmers in New South Wales suffering a 3-year-long drought. He has 2 days to get there.
Tapped here, just played up again.
Strange noises are coming from his automatic gearbox.
It's a bit funny going through from low range into high range.
Where he's headed, he'll need all of his low gears to keep his 56-tonne rig under control. On the treacherous mountain passes of the Great Dividing Range. Next morning, and Justin is preparing his truck for the challenge ahead.
Pretty much billy goat country. It's really steep and windy, and the road's been reduced to 80 through there because of fire damage.
He needs everything on the truck to be just right.
I had a bit of trouble with this truck. It's only just had a new motor and stuff in it not long ago.
The gearbox problems are still nagging at him. He'll need all 18 gears to help him brake on the steep descents.
Give this old girl a kick in the guts and hit the road.
The barren fields are a heartbreaking sight as he heads further into drought country.
It's easy to see there's just becoming less and less hay in the paddocks.
Grass on the side of the road is suddenly a precious commodity.
Come on, Baldy. pretty weak, that little calf. Let's just come up, engine stop. I have to pull over here. I have to jump out and have a look at this. Nothing rubbing or scraping. Not too sure exactly what it is. Was that thrash bearing or anything making a noise on that gearbox?
The last person to drive the truck was Justin's boss and trucking company owner, Scott.
I'm driving along and I can hear something sort of whining, squeaking, but I just want to keep this truck moving, mate, otherwise I'm not going to get there. As long as you know about it, I didn't want to f your truck, mate. Right, Scotty, see you, mate. Bye. We're in the middle of nowhere here, so there's not much we can do about it here, so we'll just keep poking along.
Gearbox problems and now mysterious noises. Not what Justin needs, hauling a 30-ton load with steep climbs and descents ahead.
If it gets worse by the time we get to the next major town over there, Tamworth or something, we might have to get something done about it.
Yeah, we're just sitting up behind this oversized mate. He's waiting for his opportunity. He'll move over and he'll let us whiz on past down his left-hand side. So, yeah, just a patience game.
On the Nullarbor Plain, Mike has his own mountain to pass. A 30-metre long, 8-metre wide, oversized load.
Keep it down, there's a big hill in front of us. I'll lose a bit of speed then, so we'll good.
For Mike to overtake, the oversized driver will need to pull over to the wrong side of the road, allowing Mike enough room to pass on the inside.
Just let us know when she's right to send through and we'll get it done.
Good communication between the drivers will be critical.
Yeah, he's on your tailgate now. Whenever you're ready, mate. Yeah, you're all clear over top. Right, mate.
To complete the manoeuvre, they'll need nearly a kilometre of empty road. And for Mike, half of his wheels will be off it.
On your left, guys.
Thank you very much for that, mate.
No dramas. Have a good one, eh?
Yeah, you too, buddy, you too. All sorts of shit can go wrong. They've got a pretty tough job in a way. They've got to try and keep traffic flowing both ways. You know, they've got oncoming traffic as well as traffic behind them, impatient people.
The delays lost Mike hours.
Back up to speed.
He's keen to make up time.
There's a tree liner across the road up in front of you. It's right up across 2/3 of the road, buddy. Go on.
Got told over the 2A that there's a tree over the road up here. So, worst part is it's right on top of a hill, and on top of the hill there's a corner as well. Oh, I can't see around it. Got no speed to go around it quick. Shit.
Reckon that's a bit of a punishment in that thing, isn't it?
Tell me about it, 25 kilometres an hour coming up there.
On a 10-kilometre hill climb, Sonny's replacement truck is struggling to haul 67 tonnes of bulk grain.
Painful.
Back at the mechanic's workshop, Sonny checks on his busted truck and its blown engine.
There's the big girl. Not going nowhere till Monday now.
An $80,000 new engine is being installed.
Doesn't get much more major than having to replace a motor.
With Monday only 4 days away, Sonny's hopeful his load of important animal feed can make it in time for desperate farmers. Days turn into 2 weeks.
Brand new. Runs nice. When we first broke down, they thought they were going to rebuild it, and they got into it and said, no, we're putting a brand new engine in it.
After a fortnight of downtime,
New trailers, new motor. Don't get much better than that, does it?
Sonny is finally reunited with his pride and joy, his 620 horsepower prime mover.
Yeah, finally, getting going again.
Over 300 kilometres away, in Roma, the double will become a quad, with the addition of 2 more trailers, before heading almost 2,600 kilometres to Catherine, in the Northern Territory.
So far, everything's going all right. It's like to try and get at least another 600 odd k's up the road today. They're going to be warm out here, dropping trailers and hooking trailers up in the heat.
Sonny reaches Roma to hook up his 2 new trailers and make up a quad.
Can't get underneath them. They've just dropped in the front. Ah, the legs are all bent.
If the legs can't be raised, the trailer can't be moved.
So the further east we go now, the more windy and hillier and steeper it gets. And this old wheel takes a bit of spurring to get her up to speed.
In northern New South Wales, Justin's vital hay run for desperate drought-stricken farmers is about to hit the hills.
I'm a little bit worried about this gearbox, where you go from low range to high or high to low. If it does that in the wrong spot on this hill, we'll be up shit creek without a paddle.
Justin needs all of his 18 gears to help brake his 56-tonne rig on the steep, winding road ahead. As darkness descends, Justin's problematic gearbox is about to get its first serious test.
She didn't want to go in the low range then. So we're stuck in this gear now until we get over it. We'll just have to get her at happy revs. Set her on about 1500 and just cruise up here. She's happy to pull up here at this. I'm happy to sit here like it. On me girl, keep going.
Next morning, Justin wakes to face his toughest challenge yet. The Great Dividing Range. 170 kilometres of tight bends, steep descents and inclines, all ravaged by recent bushfires. Justin's skipping gears are a huge concern.
For some reason, she's not wanting to go down into low range or come up out of low range without a struggle. Not the nicest road to drive on with a load of hay, that's for sure.
The long and hazardous slog through the range demands Justin use all of his gears.
Just jumped out of gear then, this thing nearly brought us to a standstill. That's exactly what we don't want.
He'll need them especially to assist in braking. If they fail, his truck could dangerously run away from him down the steep hills.
When you have trouble with your gearbox staying in gear and finding gears, it just puts you on high alert before you trip down the hill.
To make matters worse, the snaking road has been badly damaged by the recent fires. Burnt-out trees could come crashing down at any moment.
Bit of a challenge. There's no getting complacent here. We'll be in trouble real quick. Getting overspeed down one of these hills or something, or have something fail on you and end up down the bottom there. It's fairly steep and it's a fair way down.
In Roma, Queensland,
Can't get underneath them.
Sonny Forrest is now struggling to hook up his 2 new trailers.
Oh, he's moved the pin.
The pin that connects the truck and trailer has been shifted by the previous driver.
Why the would he have done that?
Sonny's already 2 weeks behind schedule, delivering feed to farmers. He can't afford any more delays. Using the truck's hydraulics, he raises the trailer, then moves the pin back into its correct position. The next step will need all of Sonny's 30 years of experience. Backing onto the connecting plate using just his side mirrors and attach all 4 trailers.
Oh, this could be a pain in the arse here. $52 metres. So now we'll go and see how it goes.
52 metres of brand new trailers that impress.
Looks the part. These trailers are an amazing compared to my old set. I used to struggle to try and keep it in my lane coming through here. These things are just staying dead straight behind me.
But Sonny faces a new hazard for his truck and rig.
And all we're going to have to worry about tonight is kangaroos. Because the last thing I want to be doing is running over kangaroos with these new trailers. If they jump out in the side here, especially this thing with all new aluminium guards all around it, yeah, they'll make a mess of them pretty quick. You run over them, their bones go through the tyres. Looking along here, along the road, there's not much hope of avoiding them. Friggin' every 50 feet there's a dead kangaroo.
Sonny is driving in one of the worst times of day for an Outback trucker. Dusk.
Oh, you thing. Get out of the road.
On the Nullarbor Plain.
Oh, no. Got no speed to go around it quick.
Mike faces a fallen tree and a blind bend.
Can't see around it.
He has a split decision to make. Hit the brakes and risk not stopping in time.
Here goes nothing.
Or go round and hope there's no oncoming traffic. He makes it. Boss Pete, travelling behind, is relieved his precious cargo of 8 vintage tractors is safe.
Dangerous where it is.
Yeah. It's a cricketer spot.
Pete and Mike agree the tree needs to be moved for the safety of others.
So that tree's pretty dangerous where it is, so just send Pete back with our big 65-tonne snatch strap to try and yank the tree out of the way.
A passing motorist lends Pete a hand.
Yeah, with any luck they can move it safely and without getting mowed over themselves, and yeah, the highway should be right again.
It's a busy, high-speed highway. They need the tree off quickly. A good deed that may have prevented a disaster.
Pretty dangerous situation. You only had half a road to be able to get around it. It was right on top of the crest of the hill on a bend. If any oncoming traffic was coming towards me that didn't know about it, they would have been going full tilt. And it could have been a big disaster.
Finally, after 6 days and 3,260 kilometres, Mike and Pete's vintage tractor run is nearly over.
Oh, not far out of home. The last little piece of this journey is going to be in the dark, but that's all right.
They've made it to Wagen in Western Australia.
We're home. Finally. We're home. and no damage was done, which is the main thing, which is the whole...
Yeah, that's the whole objective,
Yeah.
The next morning, mission accomplished. 8 of the rarest antique tractors in the country safely unloaded at Pete's yard, adding to what's already an amazing collection.
It was a bit of a marathon, but we got there and your collection looks brilliant now.
Time for the boys to blow off a bit of steam. A race between Pete in the 1948 Farmall ND and Mike in the 1962 Farmall 514.
Gotcha. Doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
So far, they look to be real good, these trailers, hey? Just keep an eye on everything.
Sonny is on the last leg of his mammoth journey. But his new $80,000 engine is about to be tested, pulling over 130 tonnes up through these hills.
Now we're on the big hill. Got a couple of decent pulls through there. Well, it's going up here at 25. Better than that other thing we took into Brisbane. That's all it did going over the Gateway Bridge. Nothing wrong with the way it went up there. Freaking dry out here.
The impact of 3 years of drought is as far as the eye can see.
Barren, nothing. Cows would be struggling to find something to eat.
There are no fences in these remote parts. Cattle roam free. On the road, they're a constant danger. An adult bull can weigh over a ton.
Definitely try and avoid them.
Hit one, and Sonny could be facing yet another truck repair bill.
The little calves, you really got to watch them because you never know which way they're going to go when they take off. Wait until you're nearly on top of them and they run out in front of you.
$3,250 kilometres travelled, and Sonny has finally reached his destination in the Northern Territory. Here, his 84-tonne load of soya meal will be turned into much-needed cattle feed.
At the mill. If we finally made it after all the setbacks with the motor and everything else, right along the weighbridge, weighed it off. When we got it all hooked up and going, yeah, I was really happy with the way everything was.
Morning.
How are you?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we brought up 84 tonne of soya meal. Now go and hook in and start unloading.
All good.
Yeah, everything went real well. So all in all, it's been a win-win.
When you're up this high, you really don't want to go through a guardrail and down through them trees. It'd most definitely be one of the last things you did in your life.
On the Great Dividing Range, fighting extreme bends and deep descents, Justin's battling to engage the skipping automatic gearbox he needs for braking.
This thing won't go down a gear, we might be in trouble here.
Justin's 2 trailers and 30 tonnes of hay bales are forcing him harder and faster downhill. His brakes are not enough. He desperately needs his gears to engage.
It's wanting to do all sorts of silly shit, this truck. We get into the wrong parts in the wrong gears, and this truck will run away. no stopping them.
Concerned for oncoming traffic, he warns other trucks ahead.
In a bit of trouble here, this thing won't go down gears.
Justin has one last option. Switch to manual and override the auto system, if it will let him.
Don't want to go down, I can't get the revs down low enough. It should go down when you get sort of under 1500. You said I was down to about 1300, it wouldn't go down.
He's going too fast. He needs to slow the truck down.
Yeah, that's where we're supposed to be, in the right gear.
Finally, he's in gear.
When we go down this next one, we'll have the right gear, hopefully. I'm just not taking no chances with this gearbox. We're going down there in manual. Sort of slowed us down a fair bit. Happened to lock it in a gear and just sort of poke along at 30 Ks, 20 Ks.
After 2 days' drive, Justin's about to deliver relief to a disaster zone.
Countryside's gone from lush and green back to burnt.
The battles he's had getting here are nothing to what the farmers he's delivering to have endured.
We'll get out and get stuck into it so we can keep on moving.
Unloading will take a few hours.
After this, 3 o'clock, 4, 5.
His next job is 700 kilometres away.
Yeah, it's not looking good for tomorrow morning's deadline.
But when you're an Outback trucker, setbacks, struggles and deadlines
Someone's not going to be happy.
are a part of the life.
Yeah, just got to keep into it, keep the miles turning over, and hopefully we get there for tomorrow morning.
On Outback Truckers,
Last 14 days, have you been isolating yourself?
Steve Graham is racing to beat a border shutdown.
I'm starting to feel the noose tight.
As Ricky Sutcliffe's timber delivery deadline grinds to a halt,
God knows how long I'm going to be sitting here for.
Can't even see behind the trailers.
and Jacob Marshall dices with bushfires to deliver hay to desperate farmers.
Quite risky, but cows have got to be fed.
Getting this freight there is really important. The world is shutting down right, left and centre with this pandemic that's going on.
Steve Graham has been trucking for 46 years, but he's travelling into a new world. As a viral pandemic sweeps across the globe, everything has changed.
I've got to cross zones where there didn't used to be zones to keep on proceeding with this load. It works on you not knowing whether you're going to complete your trip or not. You know, like every truckie when he starts out on a trip reckons he's going to finish it. Well, with this COVID-19, we don't know that.
At a building supply depot in Pinjarra, Western Australia, Steve's about to set out on a journey that will test him like no other.
This road train's got a 4,400 kilometre trip in front of it.
For a veteran distance trucker like Steve, that's a standard drive.
One big 53-metre long road train heading for the Territory.
But this trip is different.
There are a lot of border issues to deal with at this stage of the game.
Very different.
This already, as you can see, this is how this COVID-19 is affecting me. You get a little bit of help for a while, then they're gone. They're not hanging around to help you. No one wants contact with any. It's a new society.
In 4 days' time, Western Australian authorities will close the regional borders. Steve's rushing to get ahead of the restrictions.
When you push for time like now, it's another hour out of my life that I'd rather not be losing right now. I'd rather be going up the road.
One of Steve's best clients wants a delivery of desperately needed house building frames to the top end. There will be no telling when future deliveries will be possible again.
That's it.
Steve only gets paid when he delivers.
You know, I got possible flooding in the Kimberley and in the Territory. and 100 tonne hanging off the end of the steering wheel. That's what I like doing. That's my job.
From Pinjarra, east of Perth, Steve will travel through 2 states, all the way up to Darwin, at the top of Australia, a 4,400-kilometre journey.
I'm off. I'm going to get going now.
Steve will take 3 trailers, heading north into the uncertain world of COVID-19.
I don't know what I'm up against with the movement bans. At this point in time, I'm right to go. But it changes hourly.
Steve's first stop is at his home on the outskirts of Perth to pick up a trailer known as a dolly, needed to connect up the second and third trailers.
So gradually I'm picking up the pieces bit by bit. By sometime tonight, I'll have this whole 53.5 metre road train hooked up and going. This is a stressful bit.
And stress is another new health enemy Steve has to be wary of.
How'd you go, Kath? Did you get those road train permits?
Yep, these are the up-to-date new ones.
Righto. This is my first trip back on the road for a few months. I had a bit of a start last November. It was discovered that I had cancer, prostate cancer. And a month and a half ago, I had surgery for it.
It's been a huge concern for Steve's partner, Kathy.
Pretty worrying because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know at what speed it's going to keep increasing.
Yeah, look out.
Steve's a stickler for keeping his truck in good mechanical order and might not have been around for this latest Outback run if he hadn't been vigilant about his own maintenance.
They were monitoring me for 4 years, and then bang, all of a sudden my PSA jumped up, and that's it, Steve. Get in here and get rid of it.
The time was horrible because, you know, my brother was diagnosed the year before with cancer. You know, at the same time, Steve's got to worry about, or we've got to worry about what he's going through or what could happen.
Yesterday I got my test results back, and there is no indication of any further cancer, so it appears the surgeon got it all, and I'm really, really happy about that.
All right, are you going to be all right for it?
Well, I reckon I've done everything the doctor said. I've done all the right things. I'll be good.
All right.
Thanks.
See ya.
See ya. And it's good. I'm glad to be back behind the wheel, and Doggy she's happy to be on the road, aren't you, girl? Yep. We just got to get into it and not make any mistakes. Right now, I'm allowed to travel, but the restrictions keep getting tighter every day on who can travel. We'll see what happens.
Look at it go.
Over 4,200 kilometres away on the island of Tasmania, off Australia's south coast, the pandemic is not the only fear within the community.
Poor little possum, look at him.
Last year, this heavily wooded region was ravaged by catastrophic bushfires. 180,000 hectares of forest and plantations were burnt in southwest Tasmania, laying waste to the logging industry.
With the fires last year and that there, we took a pretty big hit because the industry shut down. Now we're sort of trying to make a catch-up, get ourselves back in front.
For brothers Adrian and Neil Bennett, who bravely fought the fires, this logging season signals a comeback for their timber and trucking business.
We finally got into some of this salvage and black stuff that you can see what we're in here, trying to get what we can out of it.
The Bennetts and their crew need to make up for lost time and money.
If we can get the bark off it, we can sell it as export logs. The stuff we can't get bark off has got to go for firewood. We can't sell it as chipwood because of the charcoal factor. The trucks are just working as hard as they can to move as much wood.
For an old gravel road, it's a pretty bloody busy road, actually.
The Bennett's weekly quota is 1,500 tonnes of timber. Helping keep them on target is Ricky Sutcliffe, a 32-year trucking veteran.
It's work, you got to grab it while it's there. It could be worse, we could be all still sitting around waiting to find out where we're going to go to work, if we got work. Fire, she's racing through there, heading straight for us.
Ricky was one of the volunteers who helped fight last year's fires.
There's some bad shit going down out there. This intersection here is where the fire sort of came to and stopped.
The inferno devastated the local economy. Ricky knows all too well how critical it is to keep the logs and money rolling in.
we've all really got to get in and have a bit of a crack. You know, we've got to make hay while the sun shines.
From Jeeveston, Ricky will be running export logs bound for China, 60 kilometres to the wharf in Hobart, then back to reload with firewood in Jeeveston for an 80-kilometre run out to the town of Sorel. Ricky's off to a late start, forcing him to negotiate school run traffic and an 8:30 a.m. curfew when he must be off the road.
You've sort of got to be pretty switched on with your times here because we've got a bus curfew we've got to abide by, so you sort of got to make sure you stick to that. Well, we've met the school bus, something we wasn't supposed to do, 10 minutes prior to curfew, so what do? Come on, old mate, I'm in the gutter here.
Drought's really soul destroying, but it is dry the whole state of New South Wales. The further we go north, the worse it gets.
On the mainland, Jacob Marshall's on a mercy run, delivering desperately needed hay to drought-ravaged farms in New South Wales.
Last year there was just cattle everywhere down here. Now there's none. It's really hard on them.
The 3-year-long drought has forced farmers to the brink.
Nothing you can compare the drought with to any other ones that I've experienced.
With little feed left, they're having to buy in hay from other states to keep their stock alive.
I've seen firsthand how the drought has affected people mentally and physically. They've kind of lost their hope. It's just starting to drag on, and it's just really hard.
Jacob now runs a farm contracting business in Victoria with his dad, harvesting and delivering hay.
This year's been the most hectic, load after load to farmers in New South Wales and Queensland.
Jacob's on an 1,800-kilometre run from Nil in Victoria's south, hauling urgently needed hay to Glen Innes in New South Wales.
So we're just running down to the farmer's paddock.
It's a challenging load in punishing temperatures. 3 trailers, 87 bales, with a gross weight of 90 tonnes all up.
Comes at quite a large risk on hot days. Wheel bearings getting hot, or overheating brakes, or self-combustion.
The wet hay, under the fierce sun, undergoes chemical reactions, building heat like a compost pile, and the bales can catch fire.
Quite risky, but the cows have got to be fed.
The danger of his load self-combusting is not Jacob's only worry. Wind-blown embers from the bushfires burning in New South Wales are also a concern.
I'll be just calling it as we go, and you have to be very careful of the load catching on fire or getting trapped in a certain area without expecting it.
But with drought-stricken farmers desperate for his load, Jacob is undeterred.
All done and loaded, and we'll get out of this paddock and get weighed and on the road. We'll just pull up in Nil tonight and get going early in the morning.
The bit that we're trying to do is hopefully keeping a lot of people employed.
With borders about to close due to fears of spreading the virus, Steve Graham is racing to hook up a trailer before heading 4,400 kilometres to Darwin.
Then I can just start the run tomorrow as a triple. Just get into it, get the job done. Or get into it and get to a border and I'll get shut down. I don't know. I don't know about that till I come to it. So now it gets tight, just trying to find a spot to line this trailer and dolly up. Backing a trailer up with a dolly on the back of it's a bit like having a box trailer behind your car and then putting a wheelbarrow, trying to back the wheelbarrow exactly where you want it.
A dolly is essential to connect trailers up to each other.
My problem is I've got someone with a very large head. Someone with a very large pointed head blocks my mirror a lot of the time. Still, if we get held up at the border somewhere for a month or two, she'll be good company, won't you, doggy? Better go back and see what I got. I think we're there.
But Steve's hope for a quick hookup hits a snag.
I've got a coupling in the way. Why did that do that?
Problems with the turntable on the dolly.
The lock on the turntable had dropped down prior to the jaws closing, so I've got to get the lock back up and make sure the thing's closed properly. Right, it's released. It's up to a truck driver to make sure his restraints are good and his couplings. No one else to blame. That's good and it's safe. I'm happy to go with it. These little things that are so bloody frustrating when you're playing catch-up after a few months off. But anyway, that gives me a 36.5 metre road train, 42 wheels on the road, which is the maximum length we can be here in this area, about 80-odd tonne hanging off the end of the steering wheel. Now I'm going to Woburn, 270 kilometres to get my third trailer. That's it. Now I'm a double road train and I feel like I'm starting the trip. You get the sense that you're getting into it when you get your first two trailers hooked up. You're 2/3 of the way into getting your road train together. It's been a stress day. Oh, there's going to be a lot of this. We'll see what happens. We'll take it as it comes.
It's not just the prospect of being shut down by the corona cops that's got Steve worried. The weather is also looking ominous.
They're forecasting big rain in the Kimberley, so who knows what I get when I get up there. For now, just settle down and enjoy the drive.
Well, we've met the school bus 10 minutes prior to curfew.
In fire-ravaged Tasmania, Ricky Sutcliffe's first timber run of the day is held up by an early school bus.
Great having a curfew starting at 8:30 and you meet the school bus at 8:20. Keep coming, old mate, I'm in the gutter here.
Ricky has just millimetres to spare.
Sorry, mate, we was told not to come up here at 8:30 onwards.
That's right, we'll just keep an eye out for one another.
Thank you. Old bus driver's pretty good about it. Not a problem, old mate. He said, we'll be right, we'll just keep looking out for one another. There is our block we're logging at the moment. It's all salvage timber. Like that's had the fire go through it as well.
The 25-hectare logging site provides timber mainly for the manufacturing of plywood for the shipping industry.
Just gonna jump up here in the digger and see if we can bash a quick load on.
In this job, Ricky needs to be more than just a skilled trucker. He also has to be handy with a digger, which has got a log grab claw attached.
Slippery little buggers. Hopefully that'll do. It is a bit of a morning workout. Takes its toll on me little muppet arms. I'm getting a bit old. Starting to knock the piss out of me. But right now we can set sail. Go and cash him in, come back and get another one.
Ricky's heading for the city of Hobart, 60 kilometres away.
Yeah, it gets rough on the way out. Pretty bloody rough. Steep and rough. Get that extra lock going.
These roads are rough and tough on trucks.
He's not what you call very driver-friendly, this bit down through here.
To survive the regular beating, Ricky's truck's been upgraded.
You've got extra main leaf in the springs in the back. We don't run airbag drives. If you come in here with just your normal highway truck, over a period of time, it'll kill them. They just can't handle it. Back on the bitumen, thank God.
Tasmania's capital city, Hobart, and its port is in sight.
This is where it gets all exciting. You've got to keep your eye on them, whether it be the cars veering over and then bloody jamming their foot on the brake at the traffic lights. If you hit the brake pedal, you hit it hard, the first thing that's going to happen, regardless of what straps you've got on them logs back there, is they're going to end up on the ground and in the back of this cab. Oh, I've got to have eyes in the back of your head here. Oh, I hate this place. I really do. here at the Hobart Wharf.
Finally, Ricky arrives safely at his first drop-off point.
Yeah, get out and start business.
With his China-bound logs unloaded, Ricky's on schedule.
Yeah, in and out there wasn't too bad, pretty successful.
But he needs to keep it that way.
What was that? This isn't good. This is not good.
Here we're just turning off the main highway. We're going to start heading north to New South Wales.
An early start for Jacob on his 1,800-kilometre mercy run of hay for drought-stricken farmers.
I'll have to keep an eye out for things.
Dawn and dusk are notoriously dangerous times to be on the road. Jacob will need to be on high alert for wild animals and oncoming traffic.
Whoa.
Suddenly ahead, a truck has strayed dangerously across the road.
That was scary. Yeah, bloody shit myself. Yeah, I couldn't just swerve with this truck because I would have tipped it over, so I just had to hold my line, and I'm sure it could have been a chance of not coming home.
Thoughts of what might have been have left Jacob rattled.
Yeah, I think I'll be pulling up to grab a coffee and get my mind off that near miss. I really did see my life in front of my eyes. But I'm just still shaking from it. That's how close it was. It was like slow motion. I just froze. I couldn't say anything or do anything. It was the worst near miss I've had. It certainly woke me up. I've got a few kilometres to travel today, and I've just got to put it in the back of my mind and try not to think about it.
Where Jacob's heading is not just drought country, it's also fire country.
It's a bit of a funny day. Looks a bit overcast, but it's not really. It's smoke from the bushfires.
Firestorms have ravaged Australia, burning over 39.5 million acres of bush and forest, claiming 33 lives and destroying over 3,500 homes. Jacob's destination, Glen Innes, was hard hit. 2 people killed, more than 40 injured, and 150 homes lost. Up ahead, another hazard of Outback roads.
We're just about to drive through a dust storm. Sometimes it gets so bad you only can see 50 or 60 metres in front of you.
High stacked and high mass, Jacob's load is under threat of being toppled in this dust storm, with wind speeds of up to 80 kilometres per hour.
The wind has really picked up in the last 10-15 minutes. It's really throwing the truck around. They're trying to push her off the road. That's when you kind of start getting a bit worried.
I don't know what I'm going to do about the access closures with this COVID-19.
Heading north on a 4,400 kilometre haul to Darwin, Steve faces an uncertain journey in the wake of COVID-19 restrictions.
Yesterday I was legal, I was essential services. Today, who knows?
Border and highway checks stand in his way, restrictions that have never existed before in the history of the state.
And I've got to get through, I don't know how many border controls I've got to get through. They're closing off areas every day. I think I'm right to Port Hedland, but I've got an idea at Port Hedland there might be a closure for travel further north. So this is where I finally put my road train together. It's great being back on the road, but some little bits of it aren't that much fun. Still, we need the rain. You know, this country's been ravaged by bushfire and drought. If we can get a bit of rain and some good out of it somewhere, it's a good day, I suppose. southbound out of Wonga. Thanks, mate. You have a good day. Well, it looks like I got out of that rain and drizzle. It's nice being out of it. It's not much fun in it, trying to hook up trailers, but it's nice seeing that rain and drizzles. It looked like it was setting in down there.
The growing concern is that restricted travel will turn into a total lockdown.
They could hit us with a lockdown at any point. And I'm used to being by myself out in the bush. A lockdown wouldn't hurt me in that regard, but it would hurt me like everyone else financially, seriously financially.
Who's that?
In Tasmania, one of Ricky's trailer bolsters, essential for carting logs,
This is not good.
has collapsed.
Well, that's really stuffed it up. We broke a bolt. Glad it's happened here. If that had happened going through town or through the school zone or something where you got a bunk of logs on there, you'd never live with the consequences of what could happen. So turn her around and sneak back to the workshop, I suppose, and see what the boys back there can do.
It's a major setback.
Get round this corner up to the shed.
To make his daily quota, Ricky needs to shift another 28.5-ton load of logs by the end of the day.
Got to try and get this fixed as quick as we can so we can get back to work. She's lost the bolt out of the other side there, or broke it, or done something. She just went bang and looked in the mirror, and here she is. How long do you reckon it'll take us to get him fixed?
20 minutes.
20 minutes? Too easy.
I haven't done it yet.
I've got faith in you. You'll be right.
An easy fix, but on an awkward piece of equipment. To raise it in place, mechanic Aaron Walker improvises.
But I think I've dodged a hell of a bullet today. Could have been a hell of a lot worse. Could have been when I had a load on earlier. Oh, good to go, taxi.
That should get you back on the road again, yeah.
Wonderful. You've done well.
Easy fix.
Thanks, man.
All right, go get another one.
Ricky is back on his way.
Yeah, we're just coming out of the paddocks here at Jeeveston. We'll go and get our load of firewood.
But the repair has cost him an hour's precious time.
See if we can get a quick load happening. Another load on. We're ready to roll. Time to get out of here.
It's the final load of the day. But the delays
Off we go again.
may have cost him. To make his deadline, he needs to navigate his 19-metre-long truck and trailer back through Hobart's evening peak hour traffic.
Fingers crossed, we may have a good run. Now, you sort of got to keep your wits about you through here. You get in trouble pretty quick if you're not watching.
Ricky's only 12 kilometres away from his destination, with 15 minutes to spare.
There's something going on the edge of the road there. Something's happened. There's definitely something not right happening up there. Could either mean that there's just a broken down car up there, or it means there's a head-on or something like that, which means God knows how long I'm going to be sitting here for.
We're just about to drive through a dust storm. You can't even see behind the trailers.
On the mainland, gale force winds are threatening to topple Jacob Marshall's load of hay for drought-stricken farmers.
The wind's causing a lot of dust. The whole sky is very hazy. It's just been so dry the last few years, and no rain to hold the dirt down and keep moisture in the ground to stop it blowing up. And you can't see very much. You just have to keep going, hope for the best. Oh, it's shocking out here.
He's made it through the dust storm, but now Jacob's faced with another chilling reminder of the dangers of the job.
A couple of weeks ago, a hay truck caught on fire just here. It had a collapsed wheel bearing, which caused it to drop embers everywhere, and then it's lit 3 different fires along the way.
The driver was lucky, escaping unharmed.
Just about to come into Cobar, which is a mining town in Outback, central New South Wales. I'll be happy with my chicken parma and a meal and straight to sleep for an early start.
And Jacob will need the rest. Tomorrow he has 800 kilometres still to run.
Overnight, Cobar had a pretty severe storm, and looks like it's going to be a little bit more during the day. If the rain gets any heavier, it will affect the load by getting it a bit wet and might add on a tonne, 2 tonne onto the load. Looks like everything's in order, so we'll be right to head off for the morning.
The storm isn't enough to break the 3-year-long drought this area has suffered.
That should be all grass at this time of the year. It's just all dirt. That river's just showing how bad the drought is. It's quite a major river, and it's empty. Just coming up to the final haul into Inverell. Then we'll go to the cattle sale yards and split the trailers up.
Jacob breaks down his rig and unhooks a trailer as restrictions only allow him to haul one at a time on the road into the farm.
One trailer off and then come back and get the B-double set.
To make it to John Sutton's farm, there's another obstacle Jacob must overcome.
I've just got off the phone to John. It's going to be a bit of a tricky one getting up a hill. The hill's quite steep. We'll just put my cross locks in just in case. Give us a bit more traction up the hill.
With the cross locks in place, all of the rear wheels will rotate at the same speed to hopefully provide more traction.
Losing a lot of traction.
Well, there you go. There's the signs about non-essential travel. This is obviously a regional border.
Tension is mounting on the road to Darwin. In 3 days' time, the borders of Western Australia will close indefinitely.
I'm starting to feel the noose tighten. It's a nerve-wracking feeling, you know, you're going further and further away from home and the signs are going up in front of me as I go along.
Border restrictions aren't the only concern for Steve. His 26-year-old truck, hauling 100 tonnes, is feeling the strain.
The pyrometer's showing me here we're running at 500 degrees Celsius on the turbocharger coming up over that hill. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit, well over 1,000 degrees. You can cook a steak on it pretty quick. We don't want to get any hotter than that or we might melt it off the side of the block. Already I'm 3 hours behind. I know that there's forecasting big rain for the Territory and the Kimberley. I just hope that I don't get held up by rain down here. I want to get across that border, then the rain can hold me up, I can back off a bit.
With so much uncertainty in the air, truckers are racing to make their destinations.
A lot of truck traffic on the road. They're all like me. We're all trying to shift some freight before we get shut down because we're all nervous that we're going to get shut down. Even for a little fella like me, trucking's big business. Roger, mate. It costs $1,000 a month to register the prime mover as a road train prime mover. $12,000 a year, near enough. $1,500 and something to licence each of the 3 trailers for a year. It costs $950 to licence the 2 dollies for a year. It's big bucks, that, you know, before you even turn a wheel. It's scary times. Everyone's nervous, everyone's scared, and everyone's trying to do the bit that they can, that they're allowed to do. And that's what we're doing.
Steve still has 3,200 kilometres to go to get to Darwin.
Well, don't waste it. Have a drink.
For now, it's time to call it a day.
Well, it's the start of another day. Just a few little checks. This stuff's just started to work its way back a little bit. I want to put a strap on to make sure it doesn't go all the way. I was just listening to the wireless. This COVID virus is absolutely getting out. You know, the numbers are just growing and growing. I don't know how I'm going to go at this biosecurity check, which is up the road. I didn't think I'd see that in my lifetime. Things called biosecurity checks in the middle of Australia. It's like something out of a science fiction movie. Police stop you and ask you what your business is and whether you're able to go about it. It's a very weird situation.
Something's happened. God knows how long I'm going to be sitting here for.
In peak hour traffic, Ricky's stuck with 28.5 tonnes of logs on board and a deadline to make.
What the hell is going on? See if we can see anything.
No, mate. What's going on down there? Oh, thanks, Cobber. Apparently there's a woman down here arguing with the family, so we'll just pull up in the middle of the road. We're moving here, so we'll mount up and get cracking. Well, there you go. Drama for the day on the causeway, of all places. She wants to get off the friggin' road because she gets run over. I've seen a few crazy things over the years. That takes the cake. You think you could find a bit better place to pull up than in the middle of the causeway where you're blocking the traffic. Sort of knocked us back a little bit now, that and the bloody traffic there building up. We're not that far away now, so hopefully I can get them off pretty quick.
Ricky's drop-off point is a property near Sorrel, where the logs will be cut up for firewood.
Finally made it. We're here. Thank God for that. Start taking some bondage off and get them off.
The job isn't over until Ricky has unloaded. All that's available is this ageing excavator.
Because you never know what kind of machine you're going to come across next. My first excavator I ever drove was one identical to this, so it kind of brings back a few memories.
Once again, his skills are put to the test.
No hassles, all done. Just a bit of paperwork and we're out of here.
With only minutes of daylight to spare, Ricky's hit his quota.
We've come out with a bit of a pretty respectable sort of total for the week, so yeah, we've had a go. That's the main thing.
For him and the Bennett brothers logging and trucking business, it's a much-needed job well done.
Yeah, it would have been nicer for this hill to be a lot drier.
Jacob Marshall's been fighting a steep hill to deliver his essential load of hay to a struggling farmer.
At least this little bit of shower gives the farmers a little bit of hope. Bit of a run up. I won't want to go up another gear. Losing a lot of traction. Nearly gonna just make it, I'd say. Looks like we got up. Kind of gets a bit of excitement for the morning. Hey, John. How you going? Yeah, good to meet you. Oh, we'll unstrap her and start and unload then, I guess. Yep.
For farmer John Sutton, the life-saving hay couldn't have come soon enough.
A few showers of rain, actually, since I was here last.
No, a few showers, not a lot.
Yes, not really.
4 mil yesterday afternoon, then we're going to have to wet the road.
Still need plenty of it.
Heaps.
Yep.
His daughter, Kimberly, is delighted by Jacob's arrival.
We're very grateful for you. It'll alleviate the pressure a bit.
Recent rains have brought new life, but looks can be deceptive.
Looks green here, but it's obviously just a green tinge with no feed cover at all, just mostly weeds and...
Yeah, it's usually what happens, isn't it? And just nice crop of weeds that come through that don't have much nutritional value in them at all.
So I got the first load off and I'll go back and get my other trailer.
The Suttons now have enough feed for their 200 cows for the next 10 days.
8 bales going out every second day. Happy day for the cows today. They'll come running down from the hills and that for that. Hey girls, come on. We do this every 2 days. Lucky you got a quiet mob.
Glad I got it here, and looks like we'll have to bring a fair few more. All right, we're all done. Unloaded, so I'll head off, go back home, bring another one up. Gotcha. It's a bit of a strange way to wrap up this drive in the rain, but it brings hope to these farmers.
It's only just getting on to 7 o'clock now. I should do another 1,000 kilometres fairly easily, depending on these border checks and things.
In the Kimberley region of Western Australia, the threat of COVID-19 dominates Steve's thoughts.
Do you want a drink before we go?
He's getting ready to face a whole new world of road and border closures.
I've got no idea what the biosecurity check involves. I've never been through one in my life, so it'll be interesting. It's new ground, we'll find out. Maybe they take all the flies off you and put them in a bottle or something. Who knows? Come on, let's go. Great Britain's about 1,200 kilometres long, something like that, I don't know. But that's what I want to do today. Drive from one end of England to the other. They've built these railway lines across the road and they didn't build flyovers. All the money they got, it's insane. You've got to pull up road trains down the bottom of a mountain range, and here out in the public domain, they do this nonsense with us. Well, this bloke up here will be calling me around shortly. This is one of the quad iron ore carriers. He's the 90 km/h speed limit. If I get a chance to slingshot around this bloke in a second, I'll start building it up. I'm into it, mate. I'm a little bit faster than him, and I'm about 80 tonnes, 100 tonnes lighter than him. So we're giving him a bit of room. They're big loads, those blokes are carting big loads. Thanks very much for that, mate. We like that, getting past each other safely. We talk to each other, just do the job and get on with it. Well, things are getting interesting. I'm trying to knock out the kilometres, but this biosecurity control is up here at Sandfire, about 450 kilometres from where I am right now. So it's certainly interesting times. I've got those 3 issues to deal with. I've got the border control and then the biocontrol intrastate, the border controls interstate. We have to protect our local people up here and we have to get this essential material through. It's interesting days, that's for sure.
Steve's approaching a new world of border control.
The last 14 days, have you been isolating yourself?
Yes, I'm trying to get through that border and it's scary.
What happens next will decide whether Steve will make it through, get stuck, or be forced to turn back.
The Prime Minister's making another speech on Tuesday. Is that National Lockdown Day? I don't know. It's the uncertainty of this whole COVID thing and closures and shutdowns and being stuck on the other side of the border for maybe months is a worry. There you go.
On Outback Truckers, Steve Graham confronts pandemic checkpoints.
No one knows what's going on. This whole thing it's a new ball game for the whole world. there's just no one here. It's a bit of an eerie sort of a feeling, actually.
Sludge, on his fuel run, encounters a ghost town.
Damn it.
And car salvage truckers Michael and Bozza race to find Outback treasures.
There's been an excavator here, which means that we weren't quick enough.
I've got no idea what the biosecurity check involves. I've never been through one in my life. Hanging over me like a great bloody bag of cement ready to drop on my head is this whole COVID-19 biosecurity border restriction at the territory. I just don't know if I'm going to get there, get to do my job.
Border and road checkpoints are being established all across Australia in a move to stop the spread of a pandemic that's spanning the globe.
Never in my life, apart from cyclones, when there's a shutdown for a cyclone, I've never known a time where there's control on people movements within my own state, involving the army and the police force.
Steve's halfway through a 4,400-kilometre journey, taking 3 trailer loads of building frames and supplies to Darwin.
The fear in my mind is that I could get shut down in a few hours up here at this first security control.
In COVID-19 times, Steve needs to cross a hard state border between Western Australia and the Northern Territory and tackle newly created biosecurity zones.
This is Big Brother with a big iron fist saying this is what you'll do, and it's scary.
What's also uncertain is Steve's livelihood.
In amongst all this uncertainty, you know, we've all got to make a quid. So, you know, I'm trying to get as many trips in as I can with the fear in my mind that they're going to shut me down.
The first checkpoint comes into sight. Sandfire Roadhouse, south of Broome. Because Steve's carrying freight, he's classified as an essential service and should be flagged through if the police are convinced he has followed the rules.
Wait there. Stay there. How are you?
Hey.
2 metres, 2 metres, I presume?
Yeah, thanks, buddy. All right. Whereabouts you heading, Steve?
Darwin, mate.
Darwin, yeah. Okay.
Building materials.
Building materials, yeah. Overweight?
No.
With a total weight of 100 tonnes for his truck and rig, Steve's well under the limit of 140 tonnes allowed for this type of road train.
The scalies have a good look at me fairly regularly. It looks ugly, but it's not, you know, there's not a lot of weight in them.
What Steve doesn't know is whether any conditions will be attached to him for when he re-enters Western Australia from the Northern Territory.
Did you show any signs of symptoms of coronavirus?
No. Been in no one contact with anyone.
The border cop then issues Steve with a stand-down notice for when he reaches Darwin if he doesn't find a return load.
Okay, this is a declaration basically saying you're going to quarantine yourself.
Yep.
Okay. For up to period of 14 days, okay? So what we need is signature from you. Got a borrow on you?
In the truck.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a load, that will mean 2 weeks of lockdown with no income.
At the moment, we're so far behind because everyone's ordering fuel.
In Perth, tanker driver Sludge Andrews is also struggling to make sense of the new world that's being affected by the virus.
We've been pretty flat out the last week or two with farmers deep ripping and getting ready to put all their crops in. But we're twice as busy because everyone's worried about the coronavirus. Everyone's starting to get scared. Of course, all our farmers are getting nervous, wondering how much fuel we're going to have. So It's become a pretty big thing for everybody now.
Low fuel prices are adding to the demand.
Now everyone's really starting to stock up. We've dropped pretty much 50 cents a litre in the last couple of months. So farmers are buying fuel now for $1 or under $1 a litre. What'll this hold?
2,700.
2,700, that's all I want to know. Some of these guys are burning 100 litres an hour and they've got 3 tractors going, 300 litres an hour. You know, 1,000, 2,000 litres a day, some of these big boys. So for us, it's a bloody perler. We've got to get the crops in. You can't stop putting the crops in because it's a timeline thing. That will just stop the world if they don't put the crops in. So if they don't put them in now, there'll be no food for anybody next year. It's a scary time.
From the depot south of Perth, Sludge has over 600 kilometres ahead of him, carting fuel to farms in the wheat belt and to the coastal holiday town of Kalbarri.
Today I've probably got a 14-hour day to get to where I've got to get to at the end. We've got 1 trailer of diesel on today and 1 of petrol. We've got a mixed load in the front one. And of course it's our busy time of the year, which is seeding time. We've got the back one on for farmers.
Yeah, right, you guys, just up ahead of you about a K.
Bit of smoke up here. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it's not an accident. Jesus, right up where we're going. So we get around it before they shut the road. There might be some planes flying around, helicopters. Something started, maybe a bushfire or something, I don't know. That's the last thing I need today is a fire.
That weather's come across really quick, eh? Hope it doesn't rain, I tell you what. It can get pretty gnarly up through the Murchison as soon as a bit of water comes down.
In the remote Midwest town of Mullewa in Western Australia.
Hey, Hazza?
Yeah, bro.
Go and grab the water.
Michael Elliott is anxious to beat the weather.
The rain's heading out towards the desert.
Yeah, so that means if that's going there, we're going
that
there.
way.
Yeah.
In his ageing Scania truck, he and business partner Mike Bozza are not your typical Outback truckers.
For the last 10 years, Bozza and I have been exporters. We've been chasing the Hiluxes, the Land Cruisers, all that sort of stuff for overseas clients.
They scour the Outback to snap up abandoned cars and trucks from red dirt dumping grounds. The cars are abandoned in the desert because the cost of repairing them is not worth it.
Overseas, people still buy these parts, they still reuse them. A lot of it's not waste, it's not scrap.
They ship all their wrecked vehicles to the United Arab Emirates, where they're auctioned off to overseas buyers.
So we're about to go up to the Murchison and hopefully find a few export cars, a few Land Cruisers, a few Hiluxes, maybe a few Japanese trucks would be good. That can be a little bit tricky to get the stock that we need, but a little bit of charm goes a long way.
Kiwi Harry Chase makes up the 3rd member of this tight-knit team.
Harry is Hazza. We've employed Harry for over a year now, and mate, we couldn't live without him. Harry's become part of the family.
Harry, can you do your pounds for that weather, mate? We better press on, mate.
So today, we're going to go through a community called Wajira. Rumour has it there's a lot of cars at Pyre. That's something we'd definitely be interested in.
With a convoy of 2 trucks, the car salvagers are heading into the desert in search of rusting booty. From Mullewa, they'll drop in at several communities and cattle stations along the way on a 756-kilometre trek over rough dirt roads.
And over these hills, it starts getting pretty wild out there. We have to have strong trucks because the job we do, you can't afford to take anything out to the desert that's not going to come back. There'll be a lot of kilometres between cars. It all makes it worthwhile when you find the right ones.
With rain heading their way, it's a risky venture. Get stuck and they could be there for days.
Fingers crossed it doesn't rain. That that could be dramas, you know. We could be stuck out here for 3 days waiting for the water to go down. This morning was a little bit scary. That weather kind of passed over really quickly. See what I mean? That can turn really ugly as soon as a storm comes through. All it needs is a little bit of rain and some of these washouts turn into massive crossings. Righto, okay. This is more water than I would have wanted on this trip.
Mike and Bozza are in a highly competitive business. To meet their quota of shipping a container load a month overseas, they need to beat their competitors to the wrecks.
We had jumped the gun a little bit early this year. We wanted to get out before the other teams hit the areas, so we're in close competition with a lot of the guys from Perth.
Each export container is filled with stock that will on average fetch $100,000. That means for Mike and Bozza, their monthly margin is a cool $50,000.
We got water over the road.
Water over the road, Bozza Bear.
Have you been isolating yourself?
Yes, and I've been...
Don't show any signs or symptoms of coronavirus?
No. Been in no contact with anyone.
Next 14 days, whereabouts are you staying?
I was
in your truck?
Yeah, in my truck. But I was trying to return to Perth.
At a roadblock south of Broome, Steve's being grilled by state police enforcing ever-changing COVID-19 travel restrictions.
Okay, this is a declaration basically saying you're going to quarantine yourself.
Yep.
Okay, for up to a period of 14 days, okay? So what we need is a signature for you. Got a borrow on you?
Without a return load, it'll be 2 weeks of lockdown in his truck without any income. Steve's made it past his first road check, but he still has to cross state lines where the rules could change.
You know, I've got to worry about what I'm going to do to get home. That's my problem. If there's a major lockdown, I don't get home.
Steve's a day's drive from the Northern Territory border and over 2,200 kilometres from Darwin. He needs to get there before a possible total lockdown.
No one knows what's going on. This whole thing it's a new ball game for the whole world. You just don't know whether you're going to get a big, big whack on the head tonight from the Prime Minister saying it's total lockdown, stop where you are.
A bit of smoke up here. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it's not an accident. So we get around it before they shut the road.
Meanwhile, outside of Perth, Sludge is also battling restrictions and now a bushfire. No place for a fuel tanker.
Something started, maybe a bushfire or something, I don't know. That's the last thing I need today is a fire.
Yeah, the road's blocked up there, mate. Totally blocked. Yeah, righty, mate. Totally blocked. Turn around.
Tipped off by another trucker on the problem ahead, Sludge needs to find a way to turn around.
Road's blocked. Jesus, there's always something. Rightio, where the hell are we?
Are we in the Phantom, mate?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, totally blocked up there, bro.
It'll be a while, won't it?
Yeah, righty, they got 5 bombers in there. It's near houses. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, rightio. Thanks, mate. This road could be shut for the next 8, 10, 12 hours. So I'm going to go and do a U-turn in this paddock and see what happens. See if we can get out of here. So, down and have a little look at this. The idea is come in and try and get around this limestone without getting off this gravel. You know, it's not very hard gravel, but I'm hoping it's been here longer than what it looks. So, just going to come around through here and get around so we can go back out the other way.
Turning a 95-ton fuel tanker around on an unknown piece of soft ground is a gamble.
Here we go. Oh, well.
Get bogged here, and Sludge risks failing his desperate customers.
Just coming up the turn off to Wajira. Hopefully there's a few cars in here we might be able to buy.
The car salvaging crew has reached the tiny settlement of Wajira in the Murchison region of Western Australia. Rumour has it, it holds a bonanza of valuable wrecked or abandoned cars, left to rust in the desert. But getting to them will be challenging. Mike's truck's gearbox is giving him trouble. He's lost the first 5 of his 10 gears.
I'm a bit worried I've just lost the bottom half of my box. We'll have to have a look at that. Probably not now. We've just arrived at a community. We're gonna do what we normally do, put our game face on. It's gonna work. And probably when we go to leave here, then we're gonna sort out what the hell's going on with these gears. Do you know what? I've already got a problem. Bottom half of my box is gone. Okay, so you go first, nothing. Second, nothing. Third, nothing. Fourth, nothing. Fifth, nothing. Take off in 6, it's like slow, like you obviously shouldn't be. But I can clutch it up so that we can get out of here.
Do you have to ride the clutch to take off hard?
Yeah, of course.
So basically, fully loaded, it's going to be a drama?
Of course. But I figured we'd put our game face on. Let's do the job that we're here to do.
They're meeting community elder Len Merry.
How are you, buddy?
Hello, mate.
Len, you wouldn't have any old cars laying around that we could have a look at? Yeah, cars, yeah.
Yeah, a couple around.
Yeah. Come on.
Up this way, yeah. They took a lot of car from there.
Okay.
How long ago?
How long ago?
Last year.
Bad news. Another wrecker crew has beaten them to it.
All right, no worries. We'll probably have a look at the cars anyway. We're going to limp this Scania around the back. Let's go. That's definitely not first gear. What do? Keep on trucking.
At the car dump.
Oh, I'm devastated, man. Damn it.
So this is nowhere near as many cars as I was expecting. That scrap metal laying around in the middle means there's been an excavator here, which means that we weren't quick enough.
Thousands of dollars worth of cars have been crushed.
Exporters should come in before scrap recyclers because scrap recyclers crush everything. Holy shit. Why would you crush it?
Why would you crush this, man? Oh, wow. Look at that wheel start, mate. This was a Toyota Land Cruiser now, which is pretty much a 5-foot cube.
Yeah, so something like that we would have paid a couple of grand for. In that condition, you'd be lucky to get $60 in scrap metal.
Chevy C30, man. Who does that?
Yeah, it's definitely a lost opportunity here. This is now, that's a very sad sight.
Yeah, Roger, bud. Totally blocked. Turn around.
Outside Perth, Sludge is about to take his mighty U-turn gamble.
So I'm going to go and do a U in this paddock, see if we can get out of here.
Get stuck now in COVID-19 times, and his delivery of 70,000 litres of valuable fuel to desperate farmers is threatened.
Here we go. Oh, well. That, don't you?
While his gamble's paid off, Sludge is now 3 hours behind schedule and needs a clear run to make up lost time.
This will cost another couple of hours on my day, so there you go. There's 4 or 5 hours today just gone through no fault of my own. That's the way it goes. You win some, you lose some.
To make matters worse, outside air temperatures are impacting his truck.
It got a bit hot here today. We're up on the 38, 39s now. Everything's struggling to keep cool today. It's a bit warm sitting in here, and the truck's running right up on its edge too.
His first delivery is thankfully in sight.
So we're just pulling into Dandaragan now. This is our first drop of the day. Later than we should have bloody been here, but shit happens in trucking, I suppose.
This drop-off is for haulage contractor Tony Dalton, who delivers essential supplies to farmers.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, good.
Good? Can be flat out?
Yeah, very busy.
It's one of those things that everyone's just filling up to be safe.
Yeah, we like to fill up because I'm empty.
Yeah, well, there's no excuse there.
It's just in time.
10,000 litres of diesel will keep Tony going for a few more days.
I'll be back up Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I'll probably take another 10.
Thanks, mate.
Okay.
Catch up with you after.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
Sludge needs to make up precious time. He decides to lose some weight.
We'll head north to Geraldton, and I think I'll drop my back trailer in Geraldton tonight. We're in Geraldton. We've blown the day clean out of the water, time-wise, so what I'm going to do is just unhook my back trailer here. Well, there's 20-odd thousand litres of fuel still on there, so there's no point dragging the trailer around for no reason. So I'll leave it here at my mate's yard. They don't mind, so it's out of the way and it's safe here. I can make Calbarry before I've got to knock off, and then we'll start fresh tomorrow.
The lighter load has worked. Sludge can push on to Calbarry.
There's 35 tonne on the back of that other trailer, so it makes a hell of a difference when you get rid of it.
Finally, a rest stop just outside Calbarry.
Got here, I'm a bit later than I wanted to be, but we'll go and have a bit of shut-eye and start tomorrow as another day.
I'm getting weary, you know. I've been trying to punch out my 1,000k a day since I left home, and I've been getting it.
Steve's close to the Western Australian Northern Territory border. Crossing state lines is normally a good feeling, but not now, with the added restrictions and uncertainty caused by the global virus.
I need to get to Darwin tonight, but I'm going to be at this Northern Territory border crossing in a minute, and they've got their own guidelines and protocols, and I just don't know what I'm up against. That changes by the hour. The rules, they're changing by the hour, and I don't know if I can get this bloody load in even.
Steve's under pressure from his Darwin client to make it through and deliver the building materials.
I need to be in there in good order tomorrow morning in a reasonable time, or there will be some negative feedback from my customer, and I don't blame them. They need this stuff to come off this truck so their blokes aren't standing around twiddling their thumbs.
Up ahead, the Northern Territory Police are in position, stopping all traffic. Steve's crossed this border countless times. It's never been more than a line in the sand.
In this great big land of ours, we don't have border restrictions. And all of a sudden, after 48 years trucking, I'm doing what the poor buggers in Europe and that have to do. I'm dealing with border crossings and controls and uniforms that I've never, ever had to do in my whole career before. It adds time to the job. So all of a sudden, I've got to rush from one border control, get through to the next zone. Here's the NT border check coming up now. Now I'll find out how it all goes here. Hopefully these blokes are still letting people through. It's pretty remote and there's no other traffic moving around, so I've got no idea what they're doing. But I'll pull up in a second and this bloke will tell me what's going on and whether I'm able to proceed. This has come to another big moment in my life.
Yeah, had a good night's sleep, so all refreshed and ready for another day. Let's hope it's a better one than yesterday.
Sludge is also tackling the new world of COVID-19. He's made it to the holiday town of Kalbarri, but he's 5 hours behind schedule and is playing catch-up, starting with some shopping at the local supermarket.
Some posts here, so I want to be as close as I can on one side so I can get back as far as I can, because we actually park across the forecourt. Beautiful. That's precision parking. Because we're back across the road here, it's good to get in nice and early so that I don't have to worry about all the traffic.
With the nation in lockdown, there's no traffic to worry about. Kalbarri feels like a ghost town.
It's about 7 a.m. and usually by now this place is just humming. I've seen 3 walkers this morning and a couple of boats going out, and that's it. So, yeah, there's just no one here. It's a bit of an eerie sort of a feeling, actually. They just don't want people coming up in case of the virus, and they bring the virus into town, you know. I might bloody get some groceries while I'm here. It's getting a bit hungry. Another on a bit of yogurt. Got to have me breakfast. Where's me crackers? Crunchy wholemeal. There we go. Beetroot. I like them. There we go. Oh, I mean coffee. Truckie's got to have his coffee. That was a good little shop, actually.
Stocked up, Sludge heads south.
So we're coming into Geelong now. We'll grab that back trailer and zip out here to Ian's place and do these 2 deliveries. They're only 10 or 15 k's apart, so blow them over and then head for Perth. Alrighty, we're ready to go. Done, done, done. That's all done. We're out of here.
While the public are in lockdown and the roads are clear, Sludge is discovering that for fellow truckers, life has never been busier.
You reckon that coronavirus is keeping you busy?
Yeah, man, I'm flat out, eh?
Yeah, everyone's saying the same thing, isn't it? What, you're doing a shitload of fruit up here, or?
Yeah, well, just flat out of the fruit, man. I'm starting to run out of stock today, to be totally honest. I'm even into the new season's gear. They're in a big rush to get all their fertiliser and bins and gear up here in case they decide to shut everything.
All right, mate. Talk to you soon. Bye. See ya. Jesus Christ. 39 degrees and I'm pushing it hard up the hill here, and now it's set the water buzzer up.
Oh, bro, junk. RD28. Junk. Junk.
In the West Australian desert, the car salvagers are in a heap of hurt.
What the hell?
The vehicle graveyard full of dumped cars is now crushed for scrap.
This is not what we expected. Quite disappointing. This would have been quite a large field of cars here. It looks like only just recently that they have been squashed. All right, whatever. Let's keep pushing on.
In a double blow, Michael's lost half the gears in his truck.
Let's give it a tap. Let's see if that changes something. If not, this evening we'll take it out, we'll clean it, put it back together, see what happens. Nope, that's not shifting. No, still not. Oh, well.
They've driven 200 kilometres on rough dirt roads for nothing. And now, a serious gearbox problem.
Your truck's your livelihood, man, so when something goes wrong with them, it always gets that pang inside, you know.
Their last hope, a wrecked Nissan Patrol owned by community elder Len Merry.
What kind of money are you chasing on that, Len?
$500, reckon?
Yeah, of course. Let's do it, no worries. All good.
A consolation prize.
I'm going through the floor, you do the roof pillars. We're going to open the front 2 doors, we're going to cut it through the middle. We're going to take the back section and put it into his tip, and we're just going to take the front component for the overseas market.
For overseas buyers, the front half is worth up to $1,500.
About to flick it back over, separate the two halves, put the scrap to one side and load up the export.
Right. Clean and jerk, buddy, clean and jerk.
But for this trip to be a success, the crew need much more than this. If they can't find any more cars, they're staring down the barrel of a large loss.
We're ready to hit the road. We're going to try and find some more stock before we run out of daylight hours.
Racing the light, Michael needs his truck to perform.
For the moment, we're back to stressing about the what-ifs. Oh, God, it makes you feel horrible when something's wrong with your truck. He's done thousands of Ks just in the last 9 months. Poor thing.
They're racing to reach the small settlement of Murchison.
Rain clouds.
Before all is lost to the weather.
Now.
With a 20,000-litre load of fuel still on board and outside temperatures almost 40 degrees, Sludge's engine is overheating.
Water in the radiator's right on its limit, basically at boiling point. I'll just back it off a little bit. I've hooked the back trailer on and forgot to flick the fan in, so it's brought the temperature up, come right up, we've just got to wait a minute and it'll die off and go out again. Come on, go away. It's gone out now, so I've just got to remember to keep that switched in. So we're just wheeling in here now to Ian Grant's place. We've got about 13 or 14,000 litres here for him. How are you, mate?
Farmer Ian Grant has been busy preparing for lockdown.
Everything's basically on the farm now, seed, chemical, so that whatever happens, we can just do what we've got to do.
Oh, that's all right.
And really, as far as lockdown goes, we're pretty isolated anyways.
Don't work too hard. We'll see you in a week or so.
Won't shake hands.
All right, mate. See ya.
With a pandemic sweeping the globe, transport and food production has never been more critical.
We still have to have transport. That's the only way everyone's food's going to get to the shops. And it's the same with us with fuel, you know. If the farmers don't put the crops in, 2 years, it'll write 2 years off. It'll be catastrophic.
The final stop for Sludge is a first-time delivery to new customer Colin McCartney.
It's always a concern when we come to a new place, especially when we're dragging a road train around. Make sure we can get in and out of these joints. Alrighty, what do we have him down for? 12,000. All right, let's do this. You got him on the old truck.
Yeah.
This is a bit different. It's got 2 or 3 smaller tanks. Most tanks have got bottom fills on them these days, but these are on a truck and it's got a ladder to get up there so he can hop up there. So what'll this hold?
Should hold 4,500 litres easy.
Well, I've fallen off a couple of tanks myself, and now I'm getting too old for this shit. I can't be bothered with it, you know?
Tell me about it, mate. I'm getting too old for it too.
Yeah. Once I pump this last bit off, I'll be completely empty. Straight back to Perth. All right. Thanks, Colin.
Thank you, guys.
See you again. Even with the coronavirus, it doesn't look like it's going to stop us. So we'll just keep going, see where it takes us, and hopefully it'll all disappear pretty quick and we can all carry on with life again.
So basically they're all closed? Yep. So that means you just can't go through?
Nah. In the desert town of Murchison, things are going from bad to worse for the car salvage crew.
It's a bit of a surprise. Do you have any idea when the next report comes out?
An overnight downpour has closed the road ahead, making it impossible to continue.
So there's a bit of water come down last night while we slept.
There was a lot of water.
Hopefully by lunchtime we have some full sun and this sort of dries up.
So far, they've only recovered half a car, worth $1,500. They need to pick up the pace.
Normally we would fill a load a lot quicker than this. Jumped on a bit too early, but if we've got half a day to kill here, we may as well start looking around for some cars.
Buggies? What buggies?
Local Peter Mahoney offers to lend the crew a hand and a couple of vehicles.
Around in these battle trucks.
This is what we chase the cattle in around here, because they get a bit cranky, some of them.
These bull-catching buggies aren't for sale.
Do you know of any cars around this area?
Yeah, we've got a bit of a lay down at the back here. We sort of got a bit of a stash out there we use for spare parts.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Shoot out there and have a look if you want.
Yeah, let's have a go, for sure. Right. Sounds good.
All right.
Holy shit. Come on, Pete.
Goodies, Peter, goodies. Wow.
18Z, obviously.
Ooh. These are the delicacies for us, as the 18Zs.
It could be the pot of gold the car exporters have been searching for.
We're like kids in a lolly store at the moment. What's the go with this one, bro? She's a very good-looking car, man. What, would $2 buy it? Cash right now?
Oh, you'd have to ask the owner that.
Oh, check it out.
Mate, look at some steel bumpers here too. What's that? 1HZ as well?
Parts,
yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. So your 75s are like gold around here. Yeah. This one here, for sale, Pete?
Yeah. Yeah, we can work something out of this one, right?
Yeah, for sure. What kind of money are you chasing on this one?
Bloody heaps.
Tyres still look good for out here.
We'll let you have the tyres, for sure.
Yeah.
$300 plus a free toaster. All good.
Let's grab it now.
If that's okay with you, Pete, it's all right, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, no Land Cruiser this time, but diesel Ford Courier, 2.5 litre turbo diesel. It's another item on our menu, so we're going to load this one up. Yeah, just found some gold in the Murchison. That's another one to the list, and that's what we're out here for, looking for cars, so it's good to get one. Right, mate.
The 2003 Ford Courier is snapped up for $300.
We're lifting it up, and I'm reversing right under, so I want it on the back of my deck. We rip the wheels off, so we save more deck space.
Aussie, ready? Strap it up and get on the road.
For the Outback salvage truckers, their almost 300-kilometre road trip has finally paid off.
You know, a lot of this stuff is rebuilt and reused for the next 25 years.
They still have 500 kilometres of unknown road conditions ahead. A serious gearbox issue.
That's not good.
And no idea where their next cars are coming from.
Rain that came down last night, that's going to be a bit more treacherous than we expected. But we're going to brave these conditions. It's going to be pretty wet out there.
Where you going, mate?
Darwin, mate.
On the Northern Territory border, Steve Graham faces COVID-19 border checks.
We've got paperwork here from West Australia. And
You're right, if you're going to Darwin, it's going back the other way. That's the hold up.
is there another biosecurity check up the other side of Catherine, mate?
Yeah, about just past Edith Falls.
Do I have to stop for that one?
Yeah, you will, because they won't know about this conversation, but they're just asking the same thing. You're all good.
Righto, mate. Thank you.
See you later.
I'm through this. I'm in the Territory, and I'm going for Darwin.
Steve has one roadblock to go before his destination of Darwin. But with the rules constantly changing, at the next stop, the restrictions may tighten.
You can see that they're definitely resolute. You wouldn't want to play games with them. They're friendly, but you can sense the steel underneath. You wouldn't want to stuff around with them.
He's still a long way from the Darwin depot and his customer, Morris.
I reckon I've got about 700k to go Time's killing me. I just can't make up the time. And I did tell them I'd be in sometime Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and I don't believe I'm going to get there tonight. When I get through this next control up here, I think I best ring Morris and tell him that it'll be tomorrow morning. At least that puts out the fire early. At least that gives him something. If they're going to whinge, they can start whinging about it early and I'll deal with it, rather than just be late. It's no good just turning up half a day late and expect everyone to give you a pat on the back. That doesn't work.
With his delivery deadline blown, Steve takes a break at a usually busy roadside stop. But this time, there's an eerie feeling. Steve's alone, with the COVID-19 crisis forcing everyone to lie low.
We're in the Northern Territory. Doesn't matter what happens now, I reckon I'll get this load to Darwin. That's the main thing. I'm late, but I'll get it there.
But getting to Darwin is only half the battle. Under new quarantine rules, to travel back into the state of Western Australia and return home to Perth, Steve needs to be carrying return freight. If not, he'll be stuck in Darwin indefinitely.
Getting home, of course, is another issue. I can't travel through the zones empty. I have to have a load on. And backloading isn't like it normally is. The loading's not available like it usually is because so many things are stopped. So I'm between a rock and a hard place. Once I get into Darwin, getting out becomes the next issue.
Steve and his dog Bella are 4,000 kilometres from home, with their chances of getting back fading every day.
So I've got to find the load to get me home, which under normal circumstances is not a problem. Now, with the world so crazy, who knows?
On Outback Truckers, in the face of a global pandemic,
these blokes up here might just say, stop, no one's going anywhere.
Steve Graham tackles the deserted roads of the Northern Territory.
If they've locked the territory down completely, then I'm shot.
Glenn Hasegawa's giant load of mining machinery
You wouldn't want to be much wider.
takes on tight bridges. And salvage truckers Mike and Bozza
Hold on.
hunt for wrecked gold in remote Western Australia.
Let's make a deal on these two.
Whereabouts you heading, Steve?
Darwin, mate.
Darwin, yeah.
I've never known a time where there's control on people movements within my own state, involving the army and the police force. It's a whole new set of circumstances.
Steve Graham is facing a journey filled with dread.
You know, I'm trying to get as many trips as I can with the fear in my mind that they're going to shut me down.
A deadly virus is stalking the country, and there's uncertainty in the air.
The fear in my mind is that I could get shut down in a few hours up here at this security control.
From Pinjarra in Western Australia, Steve is hauling 100 tonnes of building supplies, 4,400 kilometres, to Darwin in the Northern Territory.
40,000 people laid off yesterday. So naturally, that's churning away inside me thinking, right, do I get stopped? And I know how much money I need a month to keep my little show on the road.
Steve's used to these roads being busy with other trucks and road trains. But since lockdown, the highway is empty, apart from the police roadblocks that have sprung up to enforce regional border controls.
It is scary times.
He's already had to stop at 2 police checkpoints, and they're beginning to play on his mind.
I lost that time back down the road. I lost the time in the border control, and you can't make it up with a road train. You just can't make them go any faster than what they should go. So once you lost it, you lost it. It's weird. It's an uncomfortable feeling.
With the light falling, Steve approaches his third biosecurity roadblock.
Hopefully these blokes are still letting people through. Not bad, mate, you?
Licence there, please, mate.
Yeah. Wait there, dog. Wait there.
What's your dog's name?
Bell or dog?
Hey, Bell.
She was just barking at you just
Where are you
then.
going to, mate?
Darwin, mate.
Where'd you come from?
Perth. You're my third biosecurity check.
Biosecurity, oh, well, you
Yeah,
must
you're-
feel safe, eh?
So I feel you've got it under control, you blokes.
No worries. Will you look after
Steve's made it this far because carrying freight is deemed an essential service. But he's about to find out there are some areas that are strictly out of bounds.
I've just had a phone call. The bloke wants me to pick up a tractor
Yeah?
from an Aboriginal community.
Nah, mate.
I said to him, I don't think we can do that right now. I don't think...
No, mate, no.
It'd be-
Just go to Darwin, get your load.
All right.
All good?
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
All right, have a great day. Safe trip.
Thank you. We'll see you.
All contact with or travel to any Aboriginal community in Australia is banned under the federal government's virus controls because of the community's heightened susceptibility to infection.
That level of uncertainty I'm used to dealing with. It's the uncertainty of this whole COVID thing and closures and shutdowns and being stuck on the other side of the border for maybe months is a worry.
So any kind of Japanese truck is a winner for us.
In central West Australia, Michael and his mates, Hazza and Bozza, scour the Outback for abandoned vehicles.
No worries. All right, well, that's definitely something we're interested in for sure. We pay cash on the spot for any vehicles that we find.
They have been left to rust in the desert because fixing these vehicles way out here is just too expensive.
Overseas, people still buy these parts.
Michael and Bozza export their booty for auction in the United Arab Emirates, where there's a lucrative industry in car spare parts.
You know, a lot of this stuff is rebuilt and reused for the next 25 years.
Starting in Mullewa, they've dropped in on several communities and cattle stations on their 756-kilometre trek over rough dirt roads. But on this trip, the odds have been stacked against the desert scavengers. So far, storms, closed roads, and rival metal recyclers have meant they've found little of value.
Holy shit. Why would you crush it?
Why would you crush this, man?
That scrap metal laying around in the middle means we weren't quick enough.
After 300 kilometres of hard driving, they've so far only scored 2 cars worth $1,800 in total.
That kind of kills it because normally when you'd be able to load 4, 5, 6, we got 1 yesterday. Sometimes this is the effort you've got to go to do this job. A lot of people would drive to a location and not finding cars, they'd just give up. We just keep on trucking, man.
Out here, Michael leaves no stone unturned in his quest for rusty gold.
We sort of ask everyone where the cars are. Where the cars are, you know? G'day, buddy, how are you? What was your name anyway?
Wayne.
Wayne? Michael. Pleased to meet you. It's always good to talk to the locals. We're out here looking for cars.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. That extra 2 seconds can give you the information that you might need. You'd be surprised.
We go to the right spot, there should be plenty of junction.
At the junction? Yeah, of course, yeah. Sometimes people you just wouldn't dream of take you to absolute gold, you know? Thanks, Wayne. Have a good day.
With the tip-off, they head for Gascoyne Junction.
Hold on.
100 kilometres away.
2 trucks fully loaded is exactly what we'd like to be heading back with. Just keep going until we find what we're looking for.
It may be the desert, but heavy seasonal rains have hit the roads hard.
Most of the roads have been washed away up this way. Even though they're dried out, a lot of this stuff really needs a grader over it before it should be opened. I was sort of hoping that the bottom would be dry, but the closer we get to the junction, it's just going to be wetter and wetter. Ooh. Holy yeah, righto. Oh, God. see that to the last second. Oh, roads are open. Doesn't mean they're going to be nice.
Finally we're loading.
In the Northern Territory capital, Darwin, long-haul trucker Glenn Hasegawa has a monster move on his hands.
I'm guessing that's the digger there. He told me an excavator. Pretty sure that'll be the one.
He's shifting a $500,000 65-ton digger, used for large excavation work on mining sites. But Glenn's already well behind schedule.
Been here 2 days so far. They had to do some work on the excavator before we could take it. We'll get it on today and we'll be able to get out of here and start making our way over to Western Australia.
The mammoth 4-metre wide machine is headed to Port Hedland. But the problem is, he's not exactly sure of the address he'll deliver to.
In the perfect world, we'll have an address and phone number. I'd like to know by the time we got to Port Hedland.
From Darwin, Glenn will haul the massive machinery almost 2,400 kilometres across the top of the country to Port Hedland in Western Australia.
I'll just back it up.
Glenn has a $400,000 hydraulic trailer known as a float, designed specifically to carry oversized loads.
I'll be able to spread it a bit while we're going in reverse. As I roll the truck forward and back, the float will open out to what we want it to.
Glenn can widen the float by remote control.
We've just spread the float. She's 4 metres wide now, so that's what we need to put this digger on with the weight and the width of the tracks.
Weight-bearing wheels on the trailer dolly also can be widened with the push of a button.
4 metres probably around our limit to get over the one-lane bridges over in the west.
On his journey, Glenn faces a series of one-lane bridges, each only 4.1 metres wide.
You've only got 100 mil either side to play with, and you don't want to hit the sides because it just tears your tyres open.
And that's not the only complication.
Straighten myself up and back further up towards the digger so we don't have to run it too far on the dirt. We don't want to put dirt all over it because when we get to the border, they'll make us clean it.
Strict biosecurity laws to prevent invasive species and pests prohibit vehicles from bringing soil and other organic matter into Western Australia.
It's nice and clean, and that when we get to the border, they'll just have a look at it and say, lovely, so we don't have to clean it, because I don't like cleaning. Now we're going to put the digger on.
As a trucker who specialises in moving massive machines, Glenn has operated a digger like this before, but not for some time.
It's refreshing my memory.
A serious error with this 65-ton excavator could cost Glenn his job or even his life.
The last thing you want to do when you're loading it is drop a track off the side because it'll just slide straight off.
Got my licence there, please, mate. Next time.
Yeah. All right.
All good?
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. We'll see you.
The COVID-19 nationwide lockdown is just days away. For Steve, the future is uncertain.
When this thing changes that quickly, you can't even plan that you're going to go into Darwin, unload and reload and go back to Perth. I can't forward plan even that far. No one in the country can. That's how crazy this thing is and the world is right now.
It's stress Steve doesn't need. This is his first big trip since life-saving surgery for prostate cancer.
Yeah, I've been off the road for a few months. It would have been good to just knock the trip over, you know, go up to Darwin and go back down again, back home. But if I've got to live in the truck there for a while till I get a load out, well, that's what I've got to do.
Beating cancer has given Steve a new outlook on life.
If you've got that fight on your hands, just hang on to the good things in life. And, you know, mine are my job, I love this job, and of course my grandkids and fishing. It's been an interesting time, not without its worries, and I am really glad to be back on the road.
Steve's return to the wheel has come at a worrying time for the trucking industry.
COVID-19 is going to break a lot of businesses. There's a lot of pain. There's going to be a lot of little trucking companies in pain. Fingers crossed, fellas like me will keep our jobs doing that for a while.
Adding to his worry are fuel costs. His truck will demand a massive 10,000 litres for the whole journey, setting him back over $16,000.
I believe I've got 2 more crossings to go through before I get the load in. The trouble with all these border controls and biosecurity controls and that, you sort of take your mind off your load and your job. Oh, it's a hell of a relief getting in the territory. And that mongrel road, that last bit coming in, the frames would have been moving a little bit. It's just cut.
The road may have taken its revenge on his rope, but after 46 years on the job, Steve has a few trade secrets.
This is a very, very hard knot to achieve. It takes years to learn it. My grandmother taught it to me. So it's called here on in Granny's knot.
With the load secured,
I think that solved that problem.
Steve's ready to set off for Darwin again. Still unsure if he'll be allowed in.
The biosecurity zones have been growing like mushrooms in the last couple of days. I'd like to think that because I've got through 2 now, I'll get through another 2. I'd like to think that. But you just don't know. The rules keep changing literally by the hour.
Yep, I got no bottom half of the box again.
Michael and his team of car salvagers have reached Gascoyne Junction, but his gearbox won't engage in the bottom 5 gears.
That's not nice, you know. Not knowing what's wrong with your truck is too stressful. There's a bank of 4 solenoids under there. I'm going to have a crack at cleaning them and dressing up some wires that are leading to them. We worked into the night trying to fix the bottom half of the box. We're going to have to fix this morning before we can press on.
To have any chance of driving his truck out laden with scrap cars, Michael needs to fix his truck's skipping gearbox.
I can see a couple of really dodgy-looking wires that are going to a bank of solenoids. And maybe with the corrugations, it's sort of shaking this lot up down here. So we're probably going to look at just trying to clean it and repair it for the moment.
Out here, there are no repair shops.
You've just got to work with what you've got here. Clamping that down, and that's that. So that didn't work.
Without the wire connectors he needs, Michael will have to improvise.
Well, I managed to get one on, but it's just broken straight off, so I need a really solid connection. There's a stereo in the deck of this truck, and we're probably going to try and rob some connectors in the back of the stereo unit of this half cut. How's that? You chuck me up a Phillips head, please?
There you go.
Cheers, bro. A couple of connectors. They're a funny type connector. I'm kind of hoping that in the back of this stereo, we're going to find exactly that, some connectors. Okay, we've got enough here to work with. Okay, let's put them in.
The success or failure of their car hunting quest rests on this fix.
Fire it up, test it out, see if that's fixed the situation.
refreshing my memory.
In Darwin, long-haul trucker Glenn Hasegawa is loading a 65-tonne excavator destined for Western Australia. But he hasn't driven a machine like this in years.
The last thing you want to do when you're loading it is drop a track off the side, because it'll just slide straight off.
There's no room for error.
Went on all right, it's good, my weight's all good. We're off. On our way at last.
Glenn's got an almost 2,400-kilometre trek to Port Hedland ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm happy to be moving. Okey doke. They have pilot girls on the ball.
Throughout the journey, 2 pilot vehicles, one in front and one behind, will assist Glenn to navigate traffic and other obstacles.
They just make sure the bridges are clear when we come over them, so we're not going to run into traffic coming at us, and gives them time to slow up and let us across.
Long-haul trucking is a dangerous business. Last year, 176 people died in crashes involving heavy trucks on Australia's roads.
You've got to sort of keep your eye open in case someone wants to run into you. A little bit of traffic behind us, back pilot's telling us, so we'll get them around safely.
With an oversized load, Glenn is restricted to a top speed of 80 kilometres per hour and gives an overtaking truck as much room as possible.
Maybe one set hanging over the middle white line, and I've got a set on the edge of the bitumen down this side. You don't want them running into the side of my load.
Got one coming in now.
That triple's going to come around now. Just back down a bit and let him get round. Should be tight squeeze, you'd have to breathe in.
The 53-metre-long overtaking truck faces oncoming traffic. And only just squeezes back in time.
This is my office out here with this nice big scenery walls, cliff walls, and when it's raining, the waterfalls that cascade off the top of those mountains up there, it's quite a good sight.
Up ahead, the Northern Territory West Australian border, where for all vehicles entering the state, strict biosecurity laws apply.
So checking for dirt, plant matter, anything that could potentially bring disease into Western Australia through the dirt and seeds. This is where it all happens, yay or nay.
The thing that frightens me about these border crossings is I don't know what dictates have come down from the Prime Minister about further measures.
At the very start of COVID-19 state restrictions, Steve is facing a world filled with fear and uncertainty.
These blokes up here might just say, stop, no one's going anywhere. I don't know till I get there. I've been off the wireless, hasn't been working for 4 or 5 hours, so you've got no idea what's going on. If they block the territory down completely, then I'm shot.
This is Steve's 4th roadblock on his way to Darwin. If he's stopped and forced to turn back, his last 3 days of driving will have been for nothing, costing him the job and over $3,300 in fuel.
Okay, you got your paperwork? Yeah, you're good to go.
He's in luck.
He just asked me, had I been through biosecurity before, and I said yes. Had I submitted paperwork? Yes. Off you go, mate, you're good to go. What's up in front of me? He did say there's another 2 biosecurity checks.
Steve's under pressure to deliver the desperately needed building supplies before borders are shut. But the stress of the day is proving too much.
I'll be camped on the side of the road again tonight because I can't beat this time thing. All you can do is start the journey and deal with each day and each half a day as the rules change as you go along. It's a real weird way to operate. Well, that's it, Belle. Come on. Come on. Come on. Well, that's it, doggy. That's a long day. I've had enough. But I'm through the checkpoints and I'm only 200 kilometres from Darwin. I hope they don't spring up some more checkpoints tonight. They couldn't do it to me, surely to goodness.
Desert car wrecker Michael is hoping a rewiring job has fixed his troublesome gearbox, smashed by the rough roads.
Let's see if we get the shift. I heard something. Yeah, all right, that's it. We're good. Mate, that's it. I got the bottom half of my box again. I couldn't be any happier. Come in, boss, a bear. Box is great. Box is beautiful. Those gears down there are for hauling heavy loads. So there's no way we could get loaded and make it out of here if we didn't have the bottom half of the box.
In their hunt for rusting gold, Michael and the crew push on to their next possible treasure trove. Durawarra Cattle Station, 100 kilometres west.
From the information that I've received, it sounds like there's a bunch of cars that are about 20 to 30 years old. There's some Land Rovers, some old Toyotas, and some old Holdens. Durawarra.
The crew need a big find. After a week on the road, all they've found so far is $1,800 worth of wrecks. What Michael and his gearbox don't need are more rough roads.
Thanks, Craig. The customer's driveway's a bit rough, eh?
The crew are looking for abandoned cars they can sell to clients in the United Arab Emirates. The overseas buyers are attracted to the durability of certain car parts.
G'day, is it Dave, is it? How are you, buddy? Yeah, so we've just met the owner. We're going to go for a bit of a wander and look at these old cars he's got to show. Nah, that one's too far gone. Nice. 3L? Okay, yeah, no drama.
Things are looking up. They've found a diesel Hilux.
L-series diesel are the most reliable engines on the planet, really. And this is something that can go to any country. Anyone loves to buy that engine, so that's definitely something we're interested in for sure.
Bozza and Hazza have also spotted a battered Toyota Land Cruiser.
2F petrol is a 4.2 litre petrol. They're such a robust engine. The slugs inside them, the rods, are thick, like so thick that they hardly ever die. Here it's not worth rebuilding, but overseas they'll skim that head. That engine and box will probably end up doing another 1,000,000 kilometres, no problems. Let's make a deal on these two and then get to work.
For a tidy $200 each, this trip is getting better.
Cheers, Waddy. Thank you very much.
No worries.
No worries. Yeah, so just made a deal on a couple more cars that'll fill up the loads a bit more. So we're just going to process those quickly.
On the Northern Territory, Western Australian border, Glenn Hasagawa has been stopped at a biosecurity vehicle inspection station.
G'day, mate. How are you? A what?
A freight deck?
No, I'll have to fill one out for you, bud.
Well, when you start filling it out, I'll have a look at him, make sure he's clean with it.
They were happy the way our machine was clean, so we're right to go straight through.
Washing the digger in Darwin before leaving has paid off. But other travellers aren't as well prepared.
He's just got mud everywhere over his car and his trailer and everything, so they're going to make him wash it before they let him in over the border. Our machine's nice and clean. That would have been another half a day if we had to clean it by the time you hose it all off and gurney all the dirt out of it. No. I paid to drive, not to clean.
Heading for Port Hedland, Glenn still has 3 days driving ahead of him and a series of narrow bridges to negotiate.
Our first major bridge, the Kununurra Dam Wall.
This is the Kununurra Dam, a spectacular engineering feat. Built to divert water from Lake Argyle for irrigation in the surrounding desert areas.
We're just coming up to the dam wall now. Jo's the first pilot. She's gone over to block the traffic coming over to us. We don't want to damage anything, of course.
It's the second biggest reservoir of fresh water in Australia.
We're just about to cross it.
Almost 300 kilometres further down the road, Glenn is faced with one of his most difficult challenges so far. Squeezing his 4-metre wide trailer through a 4.3 metre wide bridge.
To a 5 metres southbound oversized under bridge supervision.
Because of the size and weight of Glenn's load, he's required to cross single-lane bridges like this at 10 kilometres an hour and record it on video. The process is called bridge supervision.
Maple Springs Creek will be under bridge supervision. I hope that's right. Righto, we're going to move.
There's no room for error.
Oh, the narrow bridges, they're only 4.1 metres wide, so we're 4 metres at the wheels.
On the right.
It is. You wouldn't want to be much wider. If you hit them, they're going to just tear your side of your tyre open.
Oh, mate, we're hopefully going to pick up a Hino truck today. Hopefully it's the right one that my buyers overseas are looking for.
Car wreck exporter Michael Elliott has his hopes pinned on one last big-ticket item to make his desert salvage run a success.
We've just driven a couple of 100 kilometres to the coast. We want to see a guy called Casper. All we know is it's a late 80s, early 90s Hino, which is quite a bit of a delicacy for exporting. And hopefully it's the jewel that we're looking for to finish these loads. I wonder who this fella is. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is definitely it. Hey, mate, how are you? Is this your truck? Yep. Hey, Michael.
How you going, mate?
Is it all right to have a look at it?
Yeah, go for
Bloody
it.
beautiful. Oh, mate, yeah, winner chicken dinner. Is it all right to pop the cab?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's got the right motor, and if it's got the right motor, it's coming with us.
This 1987 Hino truck, originally manufactured in Japan and exported globally as a tough workhorse, is the exact model they're looking for.
Holy shit. All right. So she's turbo. So that is a HO6 CT.
Exported, it could be worth up to $4,000.
Well, how much money are you chasing on this one, mate? What are you chasing cash for this right now?
You got plenty of cash? You got a green?
Oh, no drama, of course.
Done.
Done deal.
Good
Bloody
on you,
beautiful. Thanks, mate.
Bit of shake, rattle and roll, mate.
Bloody beautiful. This is gold, export gold. Something like this gets straight to Pakistan. This will run on dirt roads for the next 25 years, no problems at all.
The wrecker crew is only interested in the front half and the back axle.
Just about to lift this tray up in the air. We're going to drag the truck forwards and just put the tray back down on the ground.
The rest will be left for scrapping.
Hino trucks, I'm never used to take their wings off the front of them, off the nose, the Hino wings, the badge. When you debadge a Hino truck, it releases the spirit of a Shinto warrior, and they make it very hard for you to chop them up. Right. Woo! Load up, strap up, get on the road and head off. What a week, I tell you what. After coming such a long distance and turning up stumps, it's good to come across something good.
They've travelled over 750 kilometres in harsh desert terrain for 4 days.
Nowhere near as many cars as I was expecting.
The Desert Scrapyard Challenge has netted them 5 wrecks worth $8,700, almost 4 times what they paid for them.
We found that gold nugget we were looking for.
Good.
Another good load. Good on you, bro.
Yeah,
I love working with you guys. All right, let's roll. This is a good score today.
Probably some tyre scrapes on the guardrail.
In the remote northwest of Australia, Glenn has been forced to crawling speed as he squeezes his 65-tonne digger load across a narrow bridge with only centimetres to spare.
We're only just fitting across then. How'd that look, Meg? All good?
Yeah, it was perfect.
You liar. We're not too much further from where we'll probably pull up for the night once that sun starts to go down behind that mountain. That's us for the day.
Roadside cook-up. Only way to live, mate.
Next morning, it's an early start. Ahead of him lies the most difficult bridge of the journey.
The Will Air Bridge will be the slowest one because it's quite long.
At over 150 metres long and just over 4.1 metres wide, Will Air Bridge tests even the most experienced of truckers.
We're 4 metres at the wheels. We only got 50 mil either side to play with. Coming up to the last one now. These tight little bridges. I don't think we've scraped. That's a good sign. Just caught the side of the trailer. No drama.
Glenn's 700 kilometres from his destination, the coastal town of Port Hedland. but he still doesn't know exactly where the drop-off location is.
The only mystery left is the address and phone number, but hopefully we'll sort that today. I like to let the customer know beforehand how we're travelling, when we're going to be there. Oh look, there's my phone messaging. He might have just heard me and sent me a message. Have a read, see what he sent us. We've got a number, a name, so I'll just give old mate a ring, tell him where we are. G'day, Derek. That Derek?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Glenn from Slingshot Haulage. Mate, how are you?
Good, man.
Got a nice big digger on the back of my truck for you.
Exactly. Whereabouts are you now?
30 K's out, 40 K at the most.
Okay, not a problem.
Thank you very much, Derek. We were a bit kept in the dark a little bit on that one. We're just about there before we got what we needed. But yeah, all come good in the end. He's got his machine, I'm happy. Everything's got there in one piece, we haven't broken anything. Powers that be are happy, and you know, you think to yourself, yeah, we did all right on that one.
Well, there you go, dog. We're going to start this truck one more time, and when we shut it off, we're going to be in Darwin, all right? That's the plan, girl.
For Steve, it's the last leg of his journey, dogged by pandemic checkpoints and the fear he may get locked down.
And it's 5th day since I left Perth. It's been hard work. I don't know when they're changing the rules. No one does, and they're changing the rules every day. It's the first one back after a few months. We've done our checks, let's go. She's a little bit impatient. How are you? 2 metres, I presume?
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
All those biosecurity orders.
Whereabouts you heading, Steve?
Darwin, mate. I believe I've got a straight run, 200 Ks into Darwin and get unloaded, and I'll be happy to do it. Good, looks like we're into it.
Steve is only 2 hours away from his drop-off point in Darwin. To return home to Perth, he must be carrying freight to recross the border checkpoints. If he can't find a return load, he'll be locked down 4,400 kilometres from home.
I have no choice but sit in Darwin until I can get loading home. That's what all truckies face right now. Without freight on your trailers, you're just another useless human wandering around the countryside, possibly exposing other people or yourself to the COVID-19. And they don't want that. I've got a pretty comfortable truck. It's a pretty good house. If I've got to live in the truck there for a while till I get a load out, well, that's what I've got to do.
After 5 days of deserted roads, stress and uncertainty.
Now's not the time to be annoying or frustrating your customers.
At the construction depot in Darwin, this legend of Outback trucking does what he always promises to do. No matter the challenges, Steve delivers.
That's it, she's here.